Hey everyone, Aaron here with Elite Watersports, and we're hanging out at the Skyway Bridge with Matt Aiken. He's with North Kiteboarding and Mystic. We're going to pick his brain on what it's like to be in the industry. Hey everyone, Aaron here with Elite Watersports. We're hanging out with Matt Aiken. He is with Mystic and North Kiteboarding, but he comes from a huge list of other brands and being in the industry, even Kiteboarding Magazine. And Matt, thanks for joining us today. And tell us a little bit about it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. I've actually worked in this business my entire life. I started, grew up, got into windsurfing as a kid, and my first job in the industry was working retail at a windsurfing store. Store I worked for was also owned by the distributor for a brand called Mistral, and funnily enough, the old North brand.
Yeah.
And I did retail all through high school, all through the tail end of high school, and right through university. And from there, when I finished school, I actually ended up in a job working for a windsurfing magazine, my dream job right out of school.
Okay.
First day on the job, the boss took me to go do photos and test windsurfing gear, and I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And it's a long time ago, and I'm still here working in the industry.
Definitely. You have definitely been charging on Mystic and North Kiteboarding for the last couple of years, and they're definitely on a new trajectory because of your influence and because of your drive and commitment and passion for the industry too. As we saw today when you and I went for a quick foil session, you still have it, man. And as far as you show up to the beach, and yes, it's work between me and you talking about next year's product launch and everything, but you also enjoyed your session just as much.
Yeah, for sure. And it's actually been the last few years of the sport, and in a funny way, I'm almost enjoying it more. Like I used to be just so focused on one discipline. Like I was like riding surfboards and kiting, and that was all I did. And then now it's like with winging and kite foiling and stuff, you do a different sport every day. And it's actually, if anything, it's kind of made me a little bit more excited and a little bit more maybe engaged with the sports.
Right.
So it's like, to be learning something, learning a new part of the sport again after, been doing it for so long is still really exciting. And, I think it's actually quite an interesting time in our industry like that, because, there's so many different sides to the sports we're doing, and so many different, you can do a different sport, every day you go to the beach. It's awesome.
It's kind of like the approach of like Kailini style, where like in the morning you're windsurfing or doing a downwinder, and then next thing you know, you're wind winging or, foiling, kite foiling. And you know what's cool about you and other people in the industry that really make it a career path is that, that passion drives you not only in the work field and, making these brands grow, but also just like bringing new people into it and, getting people attracted to the sport naturally, you know?
Oh, for sure. Well, it's so much easier to do your job and talk passionately about the gear when you're still doing the sport, and you're as excited to get the new product as hopefully your customers are. So it certainly makes it a little easier to start your workday when you're still fired up about the sports.
So I wanted to touch base on like what it means to be or what tiers and levels of like ambassador or team rider, or how does one get involved in that, and what is their criteria for that, and maybe like what are they kind of required to do at each tier,
Yeah, I think when it's like someone wants to be a team rider for a brand, that could mean a little something different with different brands. But speaking for North, the path is like at some level everyone may want to be the next international team rider, the face and name of the brand that's at all the photo shoots and everything. But there's absolutely a path to get there. And for us, for North of the U.S. market, like the starting spot is you're affiliated with your local store, and you're supporting your local store. And really, at an entry level, it's like of course, we want you a good rider and a good fit for the brand like that. But really, the most important thing is, before we even take a step with a prospective team rider, we're talking to the local store, and we want to make sure that the local store would see benefit from them, that they would, be a good representative for the store first, and frankly the brand second, and that they're gonna, that they're an important part of the local community, a positive influence in the local community, and quite frankly someone who's gonna look and feel good for our brand and the retailer in that community. And I mean, that's the starting point, because they're representing our brand and the shop in the local community.
And that's sort of like at the ambassador side, and touching base on that is some of our best riders, team riders that have the best, the most influence in our community and whatnot, and having just the overall well-rounded personality to help people on the beach and stuff. I mean, some of our best riders that literally came from just coming out of lessons, just learning how to kiteboard and barely able to do a back roll. They've become a team rider, but in the sense of like growing that brand or my shop or other shops, So.
Right. So they're representing you at the beach, and they're representing you when they're kite surfing, and they're people at the beach naturally gravitate towards them because they're good people. And then when you need them to help out, if it's an event or a sale that you're doing or whatever it is, they feel like they're part of the community and their relationship with you, that they want to help you succeed, and then we all work together as a team like that.
How many team riders have you seen go through the growing pains of coming from just lessons, getting on the beach, becoming affiliated with a shop, getting sponsored by a brand, and then now working for the industry? I mean, that makes up a good majority, right?
It's a path for sure, but I mean, there's frankly, like, outside of retail and teaching, I mean, there's not a ton of jobs in the U.S. In the industry. I mean, there's not a ton of sales reps, but you'd find that almost all of them at some point probably either taught the sport or worked retail or had some sort of affiliation with a shop.
Right.
So
or
like
coming from college too, in your sense, coming from college and going straight into the industry, whether it be magazine or on the water.
Yeah. But I still had worked retail.
Right.
And working retail is really where you learn about the industry the most, because you have connections and contacts with all the different brands, and you start, at some level you start to understand how the selling cycle works, both at the wholesale and the retail level. So the grounding in retail is where you kind of get that's the real training ground in my mind for most people to go on to a different spot in the industry.
Where do you see the industry going with the new insurgence of wind winging and all these different foil disciplines, or layers, I like to call it?
Yeah. Well, I think at the starting point when kite foiling came around, to me that was just getting more people to the beach more often and on the water more. I mean, you could, depending on where you live, you could double or triple the number of days you get on the water.
I live in Florida. I kite every day.
Exactly. But if you were just chasing like, twin tip big air or something like that, you're gonna be a little more limited in your session. So, kite foiling to me just opened up a lot of conditions that for other people they wouldn't have even gone to the beach. But now wing foiling is, that's kind of the big unknown. So it's certainly gotten people back into the sport that maybe were, peripheral. Like where I live, for example, a lot of the wingers are actually like these old windsurfers I used to know, like when I used to windsurf years ago, that really haven't really been involved, or they've been doing the odd windsurf vacation, or now they're back charging at the beach, winging nonstop. They're as fired up as they were back, 30 years ago. And so, it's brought a bunch of the old water sports people back in with this new sport. But I think the real future is like the accessibility with winging. You can launch and land from almost anywhere. You can just like put it down and pause it if things are getting a little hairy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's a much broader appeal potential and much more potential for growth with winging than kite surfing's ever had.
Right.
So yeah, it's it's a pretty interesting time in that we could be poised as an industry for just a whole new level of growth.
Right. So we're attracting people from all walks of life, in addition to bringing people that have already experienced wind sports and whatnot.
Yep.
But I like to say that we've actually seen in the last 3 years where people have left kiteboarding a bit and gone to wind winging. Now we're starting to see them actually come back to kiteboarding, realizing that they need to live that waterman lifestyle of doing everything for different conditions, you know. And what I'm hearing from you is that the industry is healthy and going in the right path to increase jobs and increase brand ambassadors, and it's just bringing more people in.
Yeah, it's lots more opportunity, lots more people doing the different sports, whether it's winging, kiting, or any of the other sports. So yeah, there's like room for growth, and for the industry, it's more channels and more opportunities there as well.
Mm-hmm. So where would you say your 10 years from now, where do you see yourself in this industry? Like, do you see yourself growing north to new fields or new directions, or where do you see Mystic growing?
Yeah, well, on the Mystic front, I mean, there's still lots of opportunity for Mystic. There's still categories that I think will certainly grow, like the whole wing accessory business is of course becoming a bigger thing. I mean, we'll see what the uptake is on it. But for example, like winging harnesses are still in their infancy, and
Mm-hmm.
some people tell you almost every winger is going to use one. Some people tell you it's not really going to be a big thing. But regardless, there's still whole categories in winging that I think can grow. But for our Mystic brand, like we're not very well represented with this in the U.S. market. But like we have a absolutely epic apparel collection,
Right.
and from board shorts, women's swimwear.
I'm wearing some board shorts right now from you guys.
Exactly. Like we've got an epic apparel business that I think there's like tons of opportunity for still.
Gotcha.
And we're going to be making a major investment in the surf category.
Mm-hmm.
At an interesting time, as there's a lot of consolidation, we'll say, happening with sort of some of the older surf apparel brands, and it's creating some opportunity. And yeah, we're gonna have a pretty big marketing investment in surfing, and we're gonna do it in a credible manner. We've got some really good people at head office that are building something, and that's going to be really interesting for us. So, surf is of course, while many have tried and few succeeded, it's it's an opportunity that dwarfs
Mm-hmm.
what we can do with our apparel business and within our kite surf and wakeboarding channels.
Mystic
So
has
that's it.
definitely grown through the organic side and also grassroots per se,
Yeah.
and they seem to keep that branding on there. So when they go in this direction of surf, I mean, you guys are already producing extremely high quality foot pads and board toppings and whatnot, and board leashes, and even the construction in North alone. The fiberglass construction of your boards or and Negra and whatnot. So yeah, that's a good.
Well, we got on the north side. I mean, we've got a lot of. I don't. We actually haven't brought a lot of it to the market yet. Some of the stuff we're working on behind the scenes, but we've got access to a lot of manufacturing know-how and technology from the sailing business. And the sailing business is, I mean, there are materials and manufacturing company first, where most of the kite surfing industry buys off-the-shelf materials and uses existing manufacturing facilities. So there's, we scratched the surface of what we can do at North with, borrowing and collaborating with technology from the sailing business. And we've got some pretty exciting things coming in the next 12 months or so. We've got some, we'll start to see what that relationship's really going to yield. So far we've seen like the N-Weave material and the Mode Pro is a good example of, some collaboration with our sailing company, or actually like the rope on the Mystic surf bar is also like that's from one of our sailing businesses. So that stuff's just like the tip of the iceberg right now. So I think, with our technology backing and our ownership group, there's still lots of room for innovation and growth from that with North.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the other interesting thing is, one of the other sort of unknowns for the wing business is, what the sailing community may do with it. And
We're already seeing that. That's a lot of it's trickling over from
Yeah.
kiteboarding going into the sailing community, from
Right.
soft shackles to a new Spectra line to different a collaboration on hardware on the deck. It's coming from kiteboarding.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah, so we're working with a few initiatives to get into some of our sailing centers, North affiliated sailing centers with wing programs, and we're definitely seeing interest from the sailing community in getting into winging. So our brand, just with our heritage and sailing and everything, is just sort of naturally positioned to take advantage of that. So that's that's going to be an interesting growth area, and it's kind of hard to say where it's going to go, but it feels to me like there's still another cohort of customers coming into this industry.
That's good, man. We're investing into the future. We're investing in our next generation, especially hitting in or getting in with the yacht clubs or the sailing centers, bringing those kids up through it, and maybe they'll start kiteboarding one day, but they're definitely going to wing or or just be attracted to wind sports. So
if we can get some wing foils into the sailing schools, where the kid's been bobbing around in a dinghy all day or something like that, like they have for the last 2 or 3 years, and you get them an opportunity to go on some turbocharged foil program. That's going to be pretty exciting for them.
Sounds like a whole new podcast topic right there, and
it could be indeed.
It's always interesting talking to you. Somebody
thanks,
that has as much experience as you do, and it's great just to pick your mind and get to know you a little better and see how the industry really is on the insides. So thank you for your time.
Well, thanks for waking me up early and getting me for the early section here. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out here at the Skyway down here in St. Petersburg, Florida. So
for sure.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to us, and make sure that you hit that like button and share it around the internet. This is Aaron with Elite Watersports, hanging out with Matt Aiken here at the Skyway Bridge. We'll catch you on the water.